あなたは本当に誰かと心の底からつながったことがありますか？会話の表面を越え、視線や沈黙の中にお互いを感じ合い、言葉にならない深い理解で結ばれた瞬間を思い出してみてください。ユングは、二つの魂のエネルギーが完全に一致したとき、いかなる障害もそれを引き離すことはできないと語りました。それは単なる恋愛や友情を超えた魂レベルの共鳴です。この共鳴は無意識の深い領域で起こります。思考型は理屈で相手を理解しようとし、感情型は感覚で相手を感じ、感覚型は相手の存在を肌で捉え、直感型は未来や可能性を通じて相手を見ます。しかし、どのタイプであっても、心から通じ合ったと感じる瞬間があります。あなたにも、そんな誰かがいませんでしたか？共感しすぎるあなたは、相手の感情や痛みを自分のもののように感じ取り、時に自分を見失ってしまった経験があるかもしれません。あの人と一緒にいると、自分が自分でいられる、と感じたあの瞬間、あなたの魂は相手の魂とエネルギーを交わし合っていたのです。ユング心理学では、こうした魂の結びつきは、個性化、インディビデュエーションのプロセスに重要だと考えられています。人は他者を通じて、自分の影や光を映し出され、成長するチャンスを得ます。特に深い縁を持つ相手は、あなたの無意識の奥深くにある課題を引き出し、癒しと変容を促します。例えば、何も言わなくても、あなたの気持ちを理解してくれる人と出会ったとき、その人といるときだけ、心が楽になり、素直になれると感じたことはありませんか？その心地よさの裏には、あなたの魂と相手の魂が無意識レベルで共鳴し合い、恐れや不安を溶かしているのです。しかし、魂が触れ合うほど、自分の影も浮き彫りになります。相手の何気ない言葉に過剰に反応してしまったり、自分の弱さを見透かされているように感じたりしたことはありませんか？それは、この人と本当に深くつながっているという証拠です。ユングは、他者との深い関係こそが、自分を知る最良の鏡になると教えています。あなたは誰とエネルギーを一致させていますか？この問いを胸に、過去に出会った特別な誰かを思い返してみてください。そこに浮かぶ名前や顔は、あなたの魂が最も学び、成長してきた証です。そしてその出会いこそが、あなたを今のあなたにしているのです。魂が共鳴した瞬間に生まれる感覚を、あなたは覚えていますか？それは安心感とも、胸が苦しくなるような高揚感とも表現できない、不思議な感覚です。ユングは、無意識が無意識と響き合うとき、人は言葉を超えて理解し合えると言いました。魂のエネルギーが一致するとき、言葉は必要なくなり、沈黙さえ心地よくなるのです。思考型の人は、なぜこんなに心が通じるのかと理由を考え、感情型は、やっと見つけたと感情があふれ、感覚型は、この空気感が好きだと肌で感じ、直感型は、この人は運命だとひらめきを覚えます。どんなタイプであっても、魂が響き合う相手に出会ったとき、無意識の深い部分で、この人と一緒にいたいという感情が芽生えます。共感しすぎるあなたは、この共鳴に特に敏感です。相手の心の動きを感じ取りすぎて、相手の不安や悲しみまで自分のものにしてしまうことはありませんか？あの人が辛いなら、私も辛い、そんな気持ちになったことがあるのではないでしょうか？それはあなたの魂が相手の魂と深く結びついている証です。例えば、相手が何も話していないのに、今日はいつもと違うと感じてしまう。言葉を交わさなくても相手の考えがわかる。そんな体験をしたことはありませんか？それは魂同士が共鳴し、無意識でエネルギーを交わし合っている状態です。ユングは、共鳴し合う魂は互いを照らし合い、成長を促すと語っています。しかし、魂のエネルギーが一致する相手は、同時にあなたの影を最も鮮明に映し出す存在でもあります。相手にイライラしたり、悲しくなったり、理解されないと感じたりするとき、それはあなたが自分でも気づいていなかった影の部分に触れている証拠です。拒絶された時の痛みが強いのも、エネルギーが深くつながっているからです。 その人といるとき、自分の影が浮かび上がるように感じたことはありますか？その違和感こそが、あなたの魂が成長しようとしているサインです。拒絶や誤解を恐れず、その影を見つめることで関係はより深まり、自分自身の理解も進んでいきます。あなたは今、誰と魂のエネルギーを一致させていますか？この問いを大切に、過去や現在の関係を振り返ってみてください。魂が共鳴する相手との出会いは、人生において最大のギフトであり、あなたを自分自身へと導く扉なのです。魂が共鳴する相手は、あなたの光だけでなく影も引き出す。ユングはこう語りました。光とはあなたの強さ、魅力、可能性。影とは無意識に押し込めた恐れ、不安、弱さ。魂が深くつながった相手と出会うと、自分の良い面だけでなく、普段隠してきた影の部分までも相手に映し出されてしまいます。だからこそ、魂が共鳴した相手との関係は喜びだけでなく、時に痛みを伴うのです。思考型のあなたは、相手の言動を細かく分析して、どうしてこんなことを言ったのだろう、と考えすぎて苦しんだ経験はありませんか？感情型のあなたは、相手の一言に心が大きく揺さぶられ、嫌われたかもしれない、と不安になったことは？感覚型のあなたは、相手の些細な変化に敏感に反応して心が休まらないことはありませんか？直感型のあなたは、相手の未来や可能性を感じすぎて、この人を失うのが怖い、と恐れていませんか？共感しすぎるあなたは、魂のエネルギーが一致する相手といると、自分が自分でいられない、と感じるほど影に揺さぶられることがあります。でもその苦しみは、魂の成長にとって必要不可欠なプロセスなのです。ユングは、深い関係の中でしか、自分の影は浮かび上がらない、と教えています。例えば、親友と喧嘩をしたとき、自分は価値がないのでは、と落ち込み、相手の冷たい態度に嫌われたのでは、と過剰に反応してしまう。恋人に少し冷たくされたとき、すべて終わった、と極端に考え込んでしまう。こうした感情は、自分の心の奥にある、見捨てられたくない、必要とされたい、という影が表面化したサインです。その影に気づいたとき、あなたはどうしていますか？多くの人は不安を感じると、相手が悪いと責めたり、自分が悪いと自分を攻撃したりします。しかしユングは、影を他人のせいにする限り、心の成長は止まると言いました。影に気づいたら、まず、これは私の中にある恐れだ、と受け止めてください。影を受け入れることで、魂の共鳴はより純粋なものに変わります。恐れを乗り越えた先に、相手と本当に信頼し合える関係が生まれるのです。あなたの影を知ってくれる相手は、あなたの光も知っています。だからこそ魂のエネルギーが一致した相手は、あなたにとって成長を促す最高のパートナーなのです。あなたの影を最も揺さぶるのは誰ですか？この問いを胸に、恐れずに影を見つめ、自分自身を理解することから始めてみましょう。魂が一致する関係は、あなたを変え、あなたに新しい可能性を与える力を持っています。魂が一致する関係は、成長か破壊かのどちらかをもたらす。ユングはそう警告しました。魂が共鳴する相手と深く関わるほど、無意識に押し込めてきた影が引きずり出されます。相手の言葉や態度が、自分でも気づかなかった弱さや痛みに触れるからです。この時、影を相手にぶつけ続ければ関係は壊れ、影を見つめ受け入れれば関係は成長へ向かいます。共感しすぎるあなたは、相手の小さな態度変化に敏感に反応して、何か悪いことをしたのでは、と自分を責めたことはありませんか？あるいは、こんなに心が揺れるのは相手が悪いからだ、と相手を責めてしまったことは？それはどちらも、影があなたを支配しているサインです。思考型は、どうすれば相手に嫌われないか、を論理的に計算し続けて心を疲弊させ、感情型は、嫌われたら生きていけない、と強い恐怖に襲われます。感覚型は、これ以上心が乱されないように、と感情を閉ざし、直感型は、この関係は運命じゃなかった、と結論を急ぎがちです。しかしどのタイプも、影と向き合わずに逃げ続ければ同じ苦しみを繰り返します。例えば、 相手の些細な言い回しに心がえぐられ、夜眠れなくなる。予定をキャンセルされただけで、もう必要とされていない、と思い込んでしまう。相手に他の人の話をされただけで、自分は代わりでしかない、と絶望する。これらはすべて見捨てられる不安、愛されない恐怖という影が作り出す思考です。ユング心理学は、影を克服すべき敵ではなく、成長を促す教師として捉えます。影を避けるのではなく、これが自分の中にあった恐れなんだと認めることで、心は少しずつ落ち着きを取り戻し、相手との関係も安定していきます。魂のエネルギーが一致した相手だからこそ、その影はより強く映し出され、成長のチャンスが与えられるのです。あなたは影を相手のせいにしていませんか？この問いに正直に向き合うことが自分を知る第一歩です。影を見つめる勇気を持てたとき、相手への不満や怒りは自分を理解するヒントへと変わります。影を通じて自分を深く理解できたとき、魂の共鳴は本物の絆になります。魂が共鳴する相手に、あなたは何を学んでいますか？その学びを無駄にせず、自分を知る力に変えましょう。魂が一致する関係は、あなたを成長させ、あなたの人生を深く彩ってくれます。魂が一致した相手に拒絶されたとき、心は最も深く傷つく。ユングはこの苦しみを、魂の覚醒の痛みと呼びました。心から通じ合ったと思った相手に距離を置かれたり、冷たくされたりすると、自分のすべてを否定されたと感じてしまうのは自然なことです。なぜなら、あなたの心はすでに相手に無意識レベルで大きく開かれているからです。共感しすぎるあなたは、相手の表情一つで、もう嫌われたのでは、と心を痛め、距離を取られれば、自分に価値がないからだ、と落ち込んでしまいませんか？思考型は、どの行動がいけなかったのか、と過去を繰り返し分析し、感情型は、愛されていない、と心を閉ざします。感覚型は、もう関わりたくない、と自分を守ろうとし、直感型は、この縁は運命ではなかった、と結論を急ぎます。しかし、ここで影と向き合わなければ、拒絶の痛みは癒えず、次の関係にも影を落とすことになります。例えば、相手からの返信が遅いだけで、もう関心を失った、と考えてしまう。話を途中で切り上げられただけで、私といるのが苦痛なのでは、と不安になる。約束を先延ばしにされたとき、自分がどうでもいい存在だから、と感じてしまう。これらは拒絶の痛みが影を強め、心を支配している状態です。ユング心理学では、拒絶の痛みを心の再構築のチャンスと捉えます。影に気づいたときこそ、これは私の無意識にあった恐れだ、と認め、自分の心を知るきっかけにしましょう。拒絶されたからこそ、自分が何を求め、何を恐れているのかが見えてくるのです。拒絶されたその時、あなたは自分にどんな言葉をかけましたか？自分を責める言葉ばかり並べていませんでしたか？それとも、私は大丈夫、この経験も私を強くしてくれる、と優しい言葉をかけましたか？拒絶の痛みに正面から向き合い、自分に優しさを向けられた時、心は少しずつ回復を始めます。魂が共鳴するほど、拒絶の痛みは深くなりますが、それは裏を返せば、あなたの心がどれだけ相手を大切にしていたかの証拠です。ユングは、拒絶を成長の種に変えられる人は、誰よりも魅力的になれる、と教えています。痛みを否定せず、影を理解し、自分の価値を取り戻しましょう。拒絶からあなたは何を学びましたか？この問いを大切に、経験を自分を知る力に変えてください。拒絶さえも魂を磨くチャンスにできるあなたは、誰にも奪えない強さと美しさを手に入れられます。拒絶を乗り越えた先でこそ、本当の魂の一致が始まる。ユングはそう語りました。拒絶され、心が揺れ、自分の影と向き合った人だけが、表面的な関係を超えた本当の絆を結ぶことができます。拒絶を避けて無難な関係ばかり選ぶと、心は成長を止め、同じような浅いつながりを繰り返してしまいます。共感しすぎるあなたは、拒絶の痛みを避けるために、もう深く関わるのはやめよう、期待しないようにしようと思ったことはありませんか？しかしその決意は、 あなた自身を守ると同時に、心を閉ざし、魂の共鳴を遠ざけてしまいます。ユングは、拒絶を恐れる心は、他者との深い結びつきを拒む心だ、と警告しています。思考型は、これ以上傷つかないために、と感情を切り離し、感情型は、もう誰も信じない、と心を閉じ、感覚型は、安全な関係だけでいい、と自分を守り、直感型は、最初から運命の相手ではなかった、と気持ちを切り替えます。しかしどの選択も、影を避ける行動であり、無意識の不安を解消できないままになります。例えば、以前拒絶された経験を引きずり、また同じ思いをするくらいなら最初から期待しない、と心に蓋をしていませんか？仲良くなれそうな相手が現れても、どうせすぐ離れていく、と心を閉じていませんか？拒絶の恐怖に支配されている間は、心の奥にある本当の願いにも気づけません。ユング心理学は、拒絶に耐えた心は、他者と深くつながれる器を持つ、と教えます。拒絶を経て影を受け入れたあなたは、自分に正直でいられる強さを得て、相手の影さえも受け止められる柔軟さを持てます。拒絶を経験した人ほど、人の痛みを理解し、寄り添う力を育むことができるのです。あなたは今、拒絶を恐れて心を閉じていませんか？この問いを自分に投げかけてみてください。拒絶を成長の糧にできたとき、同じように自分の影を抱えた人と出会い、魂が一致するような深い絆を築けるようになります。拒絶を通して得た経験は、あなたをどんな人にしましたか？その学びを心の宝物として抱え、これから出会う人との関係に生かしてください。拒絶を越えた先でしか見えない景色があなたを待っています。魂が一致する相手との関係は安心感と同時に挑戦をもたらす。ユングはこう教えました。相手と心からつながったと感じるほど、心はこの人を失いたくないと恐れを抱きます。その恐れはあなたがどれほど相手を大切に思っているかの証拠です。しかし、恐れに支配されると自分を偽り、関係は徐々に歪んでしまいます。共感しすぎるあなたは、相手に合わせすぎて自分らしさを失っていると感じたことはありませんか？嫌われたくないという気持ちが強すぎて、言いたいことを飲み込み続けてきませんでしたか？その時、魂が一致しているからこそ、相手に嫌われる恐怖も強くなるのです。思考型の人は、間違ったことを言わないように、と言葉を選びすぎて不自然になり、感情型の人は、相手の期待に依頼たい、と無理を重ねます。感覚型の人は、安心を守るために、と感情を抑え込み、直感型の人は、すべてを運命に委ねたい、と極端に流されます。魂の共鳴は、これらの影を浮き彫りにし、あなたに、本当に自分らしくいられるか、を問い続けます。例えば、相手の顔色を伺って自分の意見を我慢したり、相手が求めていないのに必要以上に尽くしてしまったり、ありのままの自分では愛されないと思い込むことで自分を演じ続けてしまいます。でもそれは本当の意味で相手と心を重ね合わせているとは言えません。ユング心理学は、本当の絆は自分の影を相手に見せられる勇気から生まれると説きます。影を見せるのは怖いかもしれません。こんな自分を見せたら嫌われるかも、と思うのは当然です。しかし自分の影を正直にさらけ出せた時こそ、相手も心を開き、真の信頼が育まれます。あなたは相手に本当の自分を見せられていますか？この問いに素直になりましょう。恐れを乗り越えた先にこそ、魂が完全に一致する関係があります。自分の影を認め、ありのままの自分を愛せたとき、相手もあなたを深く理解し、受け止めてくれるのです。影を見せる勇気を持ったあなたは、どんな変化を感じましたか？その勇気を糧に、さらに心を自由にしていきましょう。魂が一致した関係は、あなたに恐れを超える強さと、深い安心感をもたらしてくれます。魂が一致する相手と築く関係は、無意識同士が協力し合う旅になる。ユングは、無意識は、意識が理解しきれない真実を知っている、と言いました。あなたの無意識と相手の無意識が自然に調和し、恐れや不安を超えて支え合おうとする関係。それこそが、 魂が一致した関係の本質です。共感しすぎるあなたは、相手の小さな心の揺れにも敏感で、相手が落ち込んでいると自分まで苦しくなることはありませんか？この人を元気づけなきゃ、私が支えなきゃ、と無理をしてしまったことはありませんか？その思いは優しさですが、自分を見失う原因にもなります。魂の一致は、相手を支えるだけでなく、自分自身も大切にすることで成り立ちます。思考型の人は相手を理解しようとしすぎて分析にのめり込み、感情型の人は相手に感情移入しすぎて心を消耗します。感覚型の人は相手の機嫌を守ろうと環境を整えることに必死になり、直感型の人は、この関係は特別だ、と信じすぎて依存してしまうことも。魂の一致は相手に全てを預けることではなく、お互いの心を尊重し合うことが大切です。例えば、相手が辛そうな顔をしたとき、どうにかしなきゃ、と焦って何度もメッセージを送ったり、自分の予定を全部変えてまで相手に合わせてしまったり。それは、自分が役に立てば愛される、という影が作った行動です。ユング心理学は、他者を救おうとする前に、自分を癒す勇気を持つべきだ、と教えます。あなたは相手の心を支えながら、自分の心を大切にできていますか？この問いに向き合うことが、魂が一致する関係を健全に保つ鍵です。相手に尽くすばかりの関係はバランスを失い、いずれ苦しさに変わってしまいます。自分を大切にできる人こそ、相手を本当の意味で大切にできます。魂が一致する相手とは、弱さを共有できる関係であるべきです。辛い、助けてほしい、と素直に言える安心感が信頼を深めます。そしてお互いに心の傷を見せ合う中で、影を癒し合いながら成長していけるのです。相手の心を支えながら自分も守れているだろうか？この問いを胸に自分の心を見つめ直してください。魂が一致する関係は、お互いが自立しながら寄り添い合う時にこそ、強くしなやかな絆に育ちます。魂が一致する相手との関係は、過去の傷を癒す舞台にもなる。ユングは、私たちは無意識に自分の影を癒してくれる人を探していると言いました。魂が深く共鳴した相手は、あなたが幼い頃に感じた孤独や恐れを再現するような出来事を引き起こします。それは心をえぐるように苦しい経験ですが、その相手だからこそ過去の影を癒すチャンスが与えられるのです。共感しすぎるあなたは、相手の小さな拒絶にも過剰に反応して、またあの時の寂しさを味わいたくない、と心を閉ざしたことはありませんか？その痛みは、今この瞬間だけのものではなく、幼少期や過去に経験した、置き去りにされた記憶とつながっています。魂が一致する相手と深く関わることで、無意識に封じてきたその記憶が蘇るのです。思考型は、同じ失敗を繰り返したくない、と頭で対策を練りすぎて心を固くし、感情型は、もうあんな思いは嫌だ、と感情を爆発させたり抑えたりします。感覚型は、安心を守るために、と相手に合わせすぎ、直感型は、これは運命じゃなかった、と急に関係を断とうとします。拒絶や不安が強くなるのは、あなたが昔の影に触れている証拠です。例えば、小さい頃に我慢しなさい、と気持ちを抑えてきた人は、魂が一致する相手に本音を見せられずに苦しむ。過去に、お前は迷惑だ、と否定された経験がある人は、相手に遠慮しすぎて自分を出せなくなる。幼い頃に誰も助けてくれなかった、寂しさを味わった人は、相手の態度に過剰に反応して見捨てられる、と怯えてしまう。ユング心理学は、これらの痛みを再体験することで癒せる、と教えます。影をもう一度感じ、涙を流しながら、もう我慢しなくていい、と自分に伝えられたとき、心は初めて癒しのプロセスを歩み始めます。そして魂が一致した相手は、あなたにその癒しを促す特別な存在なのです。過去のどんな影が今のあなたを苦しめていますか？この問いを胸に自分の感情を責めるのではなく、私には痛みを抱える理由があった、と認めてあげてください。魂が一致する相手と向き合いながら影を癒すことで、あなたはもう過去に縛られず、自分らしく愛する力を持てるようになります。 あなたは影を癒す勇気を持てていますか？その一歩を踏み出せたとき、過去を超えた自由と誰にも奪えない心の強さを手にできます。魂が一致する関係は自己実現への扉を開く。ユングは他者との深いつながりの中でこそ自分の未知の可能性が目覚めると言いました。魂が共鳴する相手との出会いは自分一人では気づけなかった光と影を映し出し、新しい自分に出会わせてくれる特別な体験です。その相手と心を重ねるほど、あなたは本当はどんな人生を歩みたいのかを意識するようになります。共感しすぎるあなたは相手を優先しすぎて自分の夢を後回しにしてきたと感じることはありませんか？この人に合わせないと関係が壊れると無理を重ねてきませんでしたか？魂が一致する関係はあなたに自分を犠牲にする優しさではなく、自分も相手も大切にする愛し方を学ばせてくれます。思考型はこの関係を長続きさせるにはと戦略を考えすぎて疲れ、感情型は相手の気持ちにいらえなければと心を追い込み、感覚型は安心を保たなければと自分を抑え、直感型はこの関係が全てだと執着しがちです。しかし魂が一致した相手と本当に成長できるのは、自分の影も光もさらけ出し、私は私のままでいいと思えた時です。例えば、相手にもっと自分を大切にしてと言われた時、私は我慢するのが愛だと思っていたと気づくことがあるかもしれません。相手との衝突の中で、私は何を大切にしているのかを自問し、自分の生き方を考え直すきっかけになることもあります。そうした経験があなたをより自由で深い愛を持つ人へと変えていきます。ユング心理学では、魂が一致した相手は、あなたが個性化を果たすために現れると考えます。個性化とは、自分の影と光を統合し、他人の期待ではなく、本当の自分として生きること。魂の共鳴はその道のりを共に歩む仲間を与えてくれるのです。この人との出会いが自分に何を教えているのだろう？この問いを大切にしてください。魂が一致した相手と過ごした時間は、あなたにとってかけがえのない成長の場であり、自分らしい人生を切り開くための宝物です。この物語を聞いて、あなたはどんな気持ちになりましたか？ぜひコメント欄に思いをシェアしてください。そして心に響いたなら、いいねとチャンネル登録で、これからも一緒に心の深海を探求していきましょ
う。We had a wonderful couple of weeks on board a beautiful ship out in the middle of the ocean, Australia and New Zealand, and the conversation of that workshop gathering very quickly came around to the subject of deconstructing of thought. Now we think that's interesting because the only reason that so much deconstruction was necessary is because there's so much bogus construction that had already taken place. In other words, you don't have to deconstruct something. You don't have to haul stuff away from the job site if you haven't hauled it there to begin with. But most of you, this is not your first day on the planet. And it's not your first day of conversation or thinking, and it certainly is not your first day of attraction. Tomorrow, however, is going to be pretty much like today, because you have patterns of thought that, even though we are going to brilliantly explain all of this here to you today, and in most cases you're going to brilliantly understand it because we're going to weave a web of understanding here. There's going to be a vibrational connection where you are going to get what we say you already are. But you're not going to change your thought patterns instantaneously. You didn't develop your pattern of thought immediately, and you're not going to change your pattern of thought immediately. And there are many things that you think that you don't want to change anyway. But what we want to draw your attention to, especially as we are beginning here this morning, we want to remind you that you are the creator of your experience, and you do so through the patterns of your thought, by the things that you give your attention to. And when you catch yourself in conversation about things that you clearly know you do not mean to be bringing to the job site, that's the time for you to stop and laugh and say, what am I doing here? I'm setting myself up for the necessity of a bunch of deconstruction of thought, all of which is going to take a lot of time. Why construct something that later I'm only going to want to deconstruct? Why not start today building it the way I want to build it? And what we want you to understand is that you have within you immediate guidance, you have access to it right now, that will feed back to you in the form of emotion what things you're bringing to the job site that you want to keep and what things that you aren't, so that you could stop it in the moment if you're sensitive to the way that you feel. And it won't take very many days of deliberately thinking thoughts in the direction of what you're wanting before you begin to tune yourself to a new vibrational frequency. But here's the thing that makes that tricky for you. You mean well, you're trying hard, but this is what makes that a difficult thing. Your awareness of what surrounds you in all of its manifested beauty and magnificence and diversity, your attention to all of those things activates them. There are two ways that you can look at creating. You can realize that there's a lot to choose from, and there are so many who are vying for your attention to choose. When you turn on the television, if you do, because it comes at you so heavily and so fast and with such intensity, all of these things you activate and bring to your job site whether you mean to or not. So the point that we're making, not just with television, not with any particular facet of your life experience, but there are two ways of looking at it. You can approach it from the, oh, there's already a lot of stuff manifested, and I think I will look around at the manifested stuff, the manifested lives, the different relationships, the different methods of parenting, the different kinds of relationships, the different kinds of interpersonal relationships. Should you marry the people that you live with? Should you not marry the people that you live with? Should you spend a lot of time with a lot of different people? Should you spend time just with one person? Should you work if you are a mother? Should you stay at home if you are a mother? In other words, there are so many opinions. Should you join the services? Should you fight for your country? Should you fight for another country? Should you let people come across the border and work with you? So here's the point that we're making. As you look at all of this information that you believe you should consider and sort through and form opinions about, that's one way of going about it. Just lay it all out there, sort it all out, separate it into piles, get spokesmen to represent the piles, and then as a people of this planet, make your conclusions about the rightness and wrongness of life by sorting out all of those details. And we say, if we were standing in your physical shoes, our mantra would be, kill me now. Because there's too much to sort, and most of it has very little to do with who you are or where you are or what you want, but it is causing you to bring a lot of unnecessary materials to your job site. It's causing you to think about so many things and in the process activate so much vibration that without you even knowing it is precluding you, is separating you from, is preventing you from being the vibrational match to the things that you already know that you want. So that's one way of going about life. Look at everything that's out there, sort it all out in terms of what's right or wrong from your point of view, gather together in groups and really debate the issues, especially politically, please, especially politically. Debate those issues and see if you can figure out anything that any of them are saying. And see if you can figure out if any of them mean what they are saying or even believe what they are saying. In other words, it isn't just that there are materials that you could choose from. There are opinions on opinions on opinions on opinions on opinions, and how you ever sort all of that out. So there's that way of going about it. Or Through all that you've been living, you have been putting your rockets of desire into your vortex, and your inner being stands as the culmination of everything that you have synthesized from this life experience and before, that you are and that you want. In other words, you can think your way into the creation of your life, or you can tune yourself vibrationally and let the powerful laws of the universe bring to you the precise ingredients that you have selected through a lot of experience over a lot of time to your job site. Can you feel the difference? In other words, when you allow yourself to release the resistance that is rampant in your vibration, you release your connectivity to so much of the glut of unnecessary, irrelevant, and unwanted materials coming to your job site. You don't have to work as hard as you've been working. Life should not be as difficult as the majority of humans upon the planet are making it. And we're here to tell you that the reason you are making it difficult is because you're going about it in a backwards way. You're saying, let's take everything that exists and let's consider it and form an opinion on it, and you get bogged down right in the middle of that. Jerry and Esther have teased one another incessantly over the years at what it's like on the day that they decide they're going to sort something. Let's sort out this room where we have been depositing things that we haven't wanted to deal with for a very long time. Esther made a little note and put it on the door that said, don't go in here, this room can hurt you. Because there's some of everything in that room. So it's been a funny thing to watch them make an effort to sort that room, because they go in with the intention of eliminating this from the room. We're going to throw it away, we're going to file it, or we're going to keep it. And we're going to do that in a very short order of time. And before they know it, they're bogged down reading the box of letters. And now it's been 12 hours and nothing has moved in the room. They're just bogged down in the glut of it's too overwhelming. It's too much to do. We've encouraged them to just nail the door shut and never go in that room again. Open another room and put more stuff in it like it. And when it's full, nail that one shut. Don't go back and try to sort it all out. And it's the same sort of thing that we're saying to you relative to all of these things that you're trying to think about. Rather than trying to sort them all out, wouldn't it be so much more beneficial? Wouldn't it be prudent? Wouldn't it be efficient to find a vibrational tone in your body that represents a vibrational point of attraction that will bring to you all and only things that are a vibrational match to that? Don't you want a concierge in the sky? Don't you want a point of attraction? Don't you want a sifting and sorting mechanism? Don't you want to live blissfully in your life? Don't you want to live in the most efficient way that you can? Don't you want the power, the energy that creates worlds to work on your behalf? We know you do, because you've tasted it here and there every now and again. So here's what we're getting at. If you will take the time to relax and allow the vibration that is at the core of you to be dominant. It always is dominant. However, what you're thinking in any moment in time equals your in this body, personal, physical, human point of attraction. So even though there's a vortex that is summoning to you all of the people, all of the circumstances, all of the thoughts, all of the ideas, all of the wonderful ingredients that will make for the most magnificent creations, even though all of it is there and it's all dominant for you, when you are thinking a thought in this red hot minute, what's active in your mind is active enough in your vibration that it becomes part of the mix and it confuses your point of attraction. In other words, if you want to be well and have wanted it for a while, and you've got a vortex spinning, and you do, and wellness and ideas about wellness and circumstances about wellness are being drawn to you, but you're watching television programs that are talking about all of the things that could go wrong with your body, so all of that is active within your vibration too, you can't hold the vibration of wellness and the vibration of illness at the same time. You're short-circuiting, and that's the thing that we want to lay out for you. We want you you to begin to see that these thoughts are connecting with one another electronically. There are thought circuits, and the circuit that is the vortex that is spinning is a very powerful thing. But what you think and what you talk about in any point in time has a huge effect on how well you allow those circuits to be open, or, and here's really what we want to say to you, how well you are constructing other circuits that are leading you to other things that you do not want. It's such an interesting thing. So you watch a little bit of television and something, maybe it's a movie or an advertisement, but it's something that captivates your interest for a little bit of time. And as you focus there and think about it, you begin offering a vibration about it. It's not a strong vibration, but it is a vibration. It is a vibrational pattern. And law of attraction, we're not kidding you even a little bit, reaches out and connects that vibration with another. And then reaches out and connects that vibration with another. You are literally making thought pathways. You are literally constructing. Now, the thing that most of our physical friends are not aware of is how rapidly the construction of the thought waves translates into the manifestational construction. Have you ever been thinking about someone and the phone rings and there they are? That's evidence that there was a strong pattern of thought construction that was going on. Have you ever been driving down the freeway and had an impulse to do something, and when you did it, you saw immediate reason for having done it? That's that thought construction coming into manifestation immediately. We want to bring your attention to the swiftness of the syncing up of these thoughts. We don't want you to be afraid of your thoughts. We want you to be aware when you leave this room of the construction of thought waves that you are about. And we want to ease your awareness of these construction of thought waves by saying to you, you don't have to go about it the hard way. You don't have to figure all the thoughts out. You don't have to sort them into piles. And it never works when you say, that's a pile I'm not going to think about, because you're thinking about that pile while you've decided you're not going to think about it. We want to show you that the shortcut to it is this. You have put, piece by piece, thoughts, thought patterns, thought constructions into your vortex of creation. Do you know what your vortex is? Your vortex is the vibrational holding place for the best of all that you've synthesized through life. It's where the I know what I do want part of the equation goes when you know what you don't want. In other words, every time you sift and sort, there is a thought way that is carved out for you. It's what the evolution of all species is about. When you know what you don't want, a thought pattern of what you do want rockets out of you and is held in this vortex of creation by source energy, by your inner being. When you have an active desire, your attraction power, your point of attraction is more vivid. More things are happening. There's more momentum in your experience when you are clear about what you want. Sometimes you hold back on what you want because you've come not to expect what you want to come about. You've come to expect desire that is slow in coming or not coming. And so when we ask, do you know what you want, what your current active desire is? Sometimes you say yes and aren't really a vibrational match to it, so it doesn't feel so good. And sometimes you say yes enthusiastically because you can feel that you are somewhere close to the vibrational vicinity of what you want. We come to this forum as representation of the larger non-physical part of you. You are so much more than your physical personality, but many people don't know that. In this body, you're an extension of non-physical, and that being that you are an extension of is actively involved in every moment of every day that you are here in this body. And the way you feel as you move through your days, moment by moment, conversation by conversation, thought by thought, really, the way you feel is really and only about your relationship with you. It's about how your energies are lining up. As you share this planet with so many other people, it feels to you that what you're feeling is a lot about what they're doing, how they feel about you, how you feel about them. But really, those are only points of focus that point out to you in an emotional way what your thought is in this moment about whatever it is you're focused upon in relationship to how your inner being feels and is focused about the same thing in the same moment. So it's the relationship between you and you that matters. We want to say it's really what matters the most. We almost want to say it's what matters only, because until you get that squared away, until you are consciously aware of the relationship between the physical you and the source energy you, the soul you, the source you, until you've got that figured out and you know what your guidance system is telling you in any moment in time, then you are undoubtedly, like many people, having a sort of rough ride, because you're observing all over the place with no defined by you reason for what you're looking at or why you're looking at it or what you're talking about or why you're talking about it. Most people are not very deliberate about these things. But when you figure out how to be deliberate about these things, then life becomes really good for you. It feels so much more satisfying as you're moving through life experience. And that's why a gathering like this, where we have an opportunity to talk with you about the things that you want and to help you come into vibrational alignment with the things that you want, then a shift takes place within you. In this gathering, we talk endlessly about law of attraction, and we talk about momentum, and momentum and law of attraction are really the same conversation, aren't they? Aren't they? Are they? Because when you think about something, law of attraction brings you more like it. And as you ponder that, law of attraction brings you more like that. And it doesn't take long before there's momentum about that. And that momentum is the excuse you all use for not thinking deliberately. It's the reason that you often offer a vibration that you don't mean to. When you think a thought for as little as 16 seconds, we used to say 17, for as little as 16 seconds, another thought like it joins it. And in the early stages of thoughts, that's so subtle, you hardly notice the increase in the momentum. But if you're able to stay non-contradicted on that thought, whether it's a wanted thought or an unwanted thought, in other words, the way you contradict an unwanted thought is with a wanted thought. The way you contradict a wanted thought is with an unwanted thought. So if you're off on the wrong foot in the morning and you're thinking about things that you don't want, and as you're thinking about that, then another thought joins it. Every 16 seconds, another thought joins and another thought joins until in a little bit of time, really in just over a minute, you have enough momentum going with that thought that you could, if you were aware, you could discern the vibrational harmony between the way you're looking at that thought and between the way your inner being is looking at that thought. In other words, in a minute of focusing, you can feel the emotion that you're feeling. You're either feeling lighthearted and happy, which means you're in sync with your inner being, or you're feeling more defensive, more vulnerable, maybe more angry, more pensive, more frustration. Those emotions come fast. And as you become aware of your emotions, that means, whether you know it or not, you are aware at some level of the relationship between you and you, which means your guidance system is now working for you. If you don't allow yourself to be real about your emotions, if you mask them, if you pretend that you feel differently than you do, it doesn't change your point of attraction, but it does make you less likely to become deliberate in the way you present your thoughts to the world. Now, your thoughts matter so much. Your thoughts are about, sometimes, they are thoughts that you've generated because it's a topic that you've been focused upon. Sometimes, and most often, your thoughts come in response to something that you are observing in your, what you want to call real life, manifested life experience. So we just want to point out to you briefly, we know that you've been listening to us for a while, many of you, and that this is repetition to you because we begin every seminar with this conversation. You are the creator of your own reality, and law of attraction is responding to you. So when you think a thought, and another thought joins it, and another thought joins it, and another thought joins it, in time, these thoughts that come about, because law of attraction keeps presenting to you other thoughts that are like the thoughts that you're offering, before long, you have a belief going. A belief is just a thought that you continue to think. And in time, you come to absolute expectations about things. So much so that you could have two people in a room who have been looking at things a different way, and they could look at the same set of physical manifested facts, and they could have two entirely different responses to it because your expectation really rules the day. And we've not said this to you before, but your expectation and momentum are really the same thing too. What you expect is really the momentum of the thoughts that you've been thinking. So when we say to you that you create your own reality and you do it through your thoughts, sometimes that makes you feel like, well, then I need to change my thoughts because the things that I'm getting that I don't want, I need to change my thoughts so that that doesn't happen anymore. Or the things that I'm not getting that I do want, I've got to change my thoughts so that I do get those. And yes, of course, on a very rudimentary level, that's exactly right. You do want to change your thoughts so that they match up with more of the things that you want. But you can't just decide that you're going to do that and go out and do that without an understanding of how the laws of the universe work. And, friends, without some practice, without some deliberate practice about things. So we're just going to say something really bold and blunt to you. And that is that you just can't get there from here. And so we've enjoyed this interaction immensely. Good luck with this. And what we mean by that is, if you have a vibration going, which is bringing whatever it's bringing, and you are an observer of what it's bringing, then that's just a continuation. That's momentum that's going to keep happening. It's going to cause you to come to beliefs about things. A belief's just a thought you continue to think. It's going to cause you to come to expectations about things that you just can't get around. Because when you expect something, that means you've got a strong practiced vibration about it. And even though you would like something different, you can't get it. You've got to change the way your thoughts are flowing. And law of attraction isn't going to let you change the thoughts that you're thinking easily. So what are you going to do about that? In the early days, we talked about a process called pivoting, which is simple at its face. In other words, when you know what you don't want, you know what you do want. And that's a wonderful thing because as you have that contrasting life experience, what you do want is formulating in a magnificent and sure vibrational environment. We call that your vibrational reality. We began calling it your vortex, your vibrational vortex, because we want you to feel the realness of the gathering of vibration around the things that life has helped you to know that you want. I don't want poverty. I want abundance. I don't want sickness. I want wellness. I don't want rudeness. I want niceness. I don't want confusion. I want clarity. But the thing about that is in the moment of the experience, which is making you most aware of what you don't want, you are creating the other end of that vibrational stick. Because a really, really, really good problem, while it is becoming, causes a really, really, really good solution to come simultaneously and in proportion. Your new desires are born in an absolute commensurate fashion to your problems. If you've got a really good question, a really good answer is formulating. That's what creation is. That's what you knew you were contributing to when you decided to come into this body to begin with. But the thing that is important for you to understand is that while you are moving through the contrast of life and acknowledging, really creating, and really improving, you might say, which sounds weird, improving your problems, which means growing them, getting them bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger with more definition. You are also simultaneously creating the growth, expanding solution to that. But humans don't know that. The source energy part of you is reveling in everything that you are creating over here on the solution end. But you usually are over here so determined that you are going to solve this problem, that you are going to wrestle it to the ground. You're going to identify it. You're going to discuss it with others. You're going to join groups about it. You're going to compare it with other problems that are like it. And while that is all really good for the universe at large, while that is really, really good for what's happening in your vibrational reality, which you could find alignment with if you knew what you were doing, it's usually not so good for you because you just keep growing the problem. And as you grow the problem, you don't feel so good. We would like that to be an easy thing that changes within you. We would like you, instead of feeling unhappy with yourself because you've created a problem, and unhappy with yourself that you don't feel good because of the problem, we would like you to feel appreciative of your problems in the way that we are appreciative of your problems, so that you then could pivot to the solution. The key to deliberate creation is understanding that you have to have some contrast in order to ask for more. And more is what we are all about. The continuation of existence, not the elimination of existence. It will never be eliminated. It will always continue. The question is, are you going along with the solution that you've created while you've been exploring the contrast of the problem? Step one is contrast causes you to ask. Step two is you launch a solution into this vibrational reality, and your inner being joins the vibration of the solution and holds a steady focus upon it so that it's there for someone who gets into the receiving mode to receive. Is it going to be you? Maybe. It depends upon your ability to cease the resistant thought that is keeping you vibrationally apart from the solution. Do you understand what we're saying?